Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraय Nashtaprayashva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we are continuing with our lecture today in this series on Ishopanishad, and we'll be continuing to discuss how this particular science of our relationship with Krishna is important for us to understand and get back to achieve the ultimate objective of our life, which is Krishna Prem. And that is where Ishopanishad plays an important part. So let us continue with our discussions on this particular topic till now. So what we have covered till now is something like this. So we started off with the introduction. We started off with the invocation, and then we have covered certain shlokas. So the very first introduction was wherein we understood that we have four defects, and so we need the Vedas. Vedas give us universal and axiomatic wisdom. How Vedic knowledge is superior to Pratyaksha and Anuman Praman. How Vedas or Krishna, how that is only way to know about the trans real, and how Krishna is the ultimate goal of the Vedas and the history of Vedas. Then we have seen how the whole Ishopanishad is broken from invocation to three. We are understanding the importance of living in harmony with Ishvara. Then the next four shlokas, we are understanding how Ishvara can be understood with spiritual vision. Then we are going to be talking about right and the wrong vidya, the right and the wrong upasana, and then prayers for Ishvara to reveal. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Avashishyate. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete whole. So here we see how Krishna is absolute complete truth, how material world is also complete, how human form offers complete facility, how sense gratification is illusory incompleteness, and devotional service is the real completeness. ईशावास्यम् इदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जिता माग्रीत कश्यस्विदस्तनम्. Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. So here we have seen the glory of Vedic knowledge, how Lord is proprietor of everything, how everyone has quota, how there is quota in human possession of earth, how there is quota in human diet, and how we should live according to the Ishavasya principle. Asurya nama te loka andhena tamasa vdataha tamste priti abhyakachanti ye kecha atmano janaha. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faultless, full of darkness and ignorance. So here we saw how karma bandhana causes that, how human life offers liberation through a karma, how Vedas lead ultimately to a karma, how we have to begin by bringing Krishna into the sense gratificatory life, how without Krishna everything is when, and how we have to convert all our activities into karma yoga. कुर्वाणेव हि कर्माणि जिजि विशेष शातं क्षमः एवं त्वयेन अन्यथेतो अस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे. One may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working in that way. For that sort of work will not bind him to the law of karma. There is no alternative to this law of nature. So we understood who is a demon, who is a soul killer, how it is important to liberate the soul and not kill it. How if you don't use the facilities of human life form, then we have to live worse than animals in this life and go to hell in next life. How even failure in liberating soul brings glorious results. How modern politicians are acting as demons and how we can solve the problems for him. अनेजादेकं मनसु जावियो नैनाद देवा पुनुनान् पूर्वमर्षद तद धावतो अन्यान् अत्येति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन् अपोमातरिष्य दधाति. Although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place he controls those who supply the air and the rain, he surpasses all in excellence. So in this shloka, we understood how absolute truth cannot be understood by speculation. Only revelation helps understand God and his energies. How energies are not different yet different. How, because we are limited, we cannot understand unlimited through, and how it is important that we play our part and will be given the understanding. So that is what we understood. The next shloka was that ejati tat ejati tan ejati tad dure tad vi antike tad antarasya sarvasya tad usarvasyasya bhayatah. The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything, and yet he is outside of everything. So here we see how supreme is inconceivable, how absolute truth is far yet near, how science of deity worship is important, how Krishna is nirguna yat saguna, and how the Lord pervades everything, yet he is separate from everything. The next shloka was Yastu Sarvani Bhutani Atmani Eva Anupashyati Sarva Bhuteshu Cha Atmanam Tato Navijugupsate. He who systematically sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or anything. So here we talked about Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, Uttam Adhikari. Then we understood Yasmin Sarvani Bhutani Atma Eva Buddha Vijanatah Tatra Komoha Kaha Shokaha Ekatvam Anupashyatah. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual parts, in quality one with the Lord, becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? So there is oneness between energy and the energetic. Oneness in quality, but not in quantity. Oneness in interest brings enjoyment. Separate interest cause shoka and moha. And so we have to become one in interest with God. Om Agyanti Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalaka Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayambhuh Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitam Cham Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are into the 8th shloka, which will be the ultimate shloka of the second part of Ishopanishad, wherein we are understanding how Ishvara can be understood only with the spiritual vision. And whatever we talk about, whatever we try to think with our material thoughts, material eyes, they are not complete. So if you have to understand about Krishna, then we need the spiritual vision, and that is something which can be given only by revelation by Krishna. Saparyagata Shukram Akayam Avranam Ashnaviram Shuddham Apapa viddham kavihi manisi Paribhuh Svayambhuh Yathatathyato Arthan Vedadhata swasti abjaya samabhya. So the shloka is Sahaparyagat Shukram Akayam Avranam Ashnaviram Ashuddham Apapa viddham Kavihim manisi Pravibhuh Svayambhuh Yathatathyato Arthan Vedadhata Ashvitabhya samabhya. Such a person must factually know the greatest of all, the personality of Godhead, who is unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veins, pure and uncontaminated, the self sufficient philosopher who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial. So many important qualities of our Krishna are mentioned. And it is said that we should paryagad. We should know. See, it's not you know. It's said with stress. Paryagad. That you must know in fact. And what are the things that we are supposed to know? Shukram. Shukram means omnipotent. Second aspect is Akayam, unembodied, who is not worried about anybody, who is not, I'll say, engaged in anybody. Avranam, without reproach. Ashnaviram, without weights. And how is he? He is Shuddham. He is an antiseptic. He is Apapa viddham. He is Prophylactic. And he is Kavihi, omniscient. He is Paribhuh, the greatest of all. He is Svayambhuh. He is self-sufficient. Just see. And how is he? He is Svasvatibhya, immemorial, time. Shashvatibhya samabhya. So, whatever we have been hearing about Krishna till now, and we have been speaking, this is the evidence for it. Why Krishna is the original supreme personality of God. And no one else. And that is why in Chaitanya Charitamrita also it is mentioned. Ekale Ishwarha Krishna Arasabha Pratya. Only Krishna is the supreme personality and all others are servants. So what we are only servants. So here Prabhupada ji gives us an explanation. He makes us understand what is Akayam or unembodied, what is Ashnaviram, what is without veins, how Krishna is Shukram, omnipotent, how Yathatathyato Arthan, that is, he is fulfiller of desires, how he is Paribhuh, supreme, how he is Svayambhuh, self-sufficient, Shuddham, antiseptic, and Apapa, viddham, prophylactic. So, let us start from basics. Lord is having a rupa, Sachidananda Vigraha. So he is not formless. He has a Shashvat form, he has a transcendental form, and it is not anything that we see in this material mundane world. Here, what we think as a form made of the Panchabhutaha, they are not actual something which can limit the unlimited. Here, when we say that someone has a body, we talk about his anatomy. So there has to be something like the veins, which allow the flow of blood and so forth. Krishna does not have any veins, and that is why it is mentioned here. Ashnaviram. Actually, there is no difference between Krishna and his body. He is unembodied. We are forced to accept some kind of a body according to the laws of nature. Krishna, he controls the nature. Prakriti kriya sarvaman. And that is why we find that we have a soul, we are a soul, and we have a body. So soul and body are different. But for Supreme Lord, there is no such difference. He is a complete whole. His mind, body, he himself are all one and the same. And so he is transcendental. He is Sachidananda Vikram. In Brahma Samhita, we are seeing this description. How Krishna is eternal. How he is representing transcendental existence, knowledge, and beings. And so we have to accept the literatures as it is. In fact, in Shloka number 5.32 from Brahma Samhita, it is stated that each and every part of the body of Krishna can do the work of the other senses. So he can walk with hands, he can eat with eyes, he can speak with ears, he can listen with mouth, so on and so forth. That is why he is Lord and we are the servants. And this particular aspect of Brahma Samhita is confirmed from this particular shloka by the word Shukram. Because Shukram means omnipotent. So he is not limited by any sense organs. He can do whatever he wants by whatever way he wants. And that is why Prabhupada ji starts discussion about Archa Vigrahas as well. Now, Archa Vigrahas are the worshipable form of the Lord which you see in the temples. And you have to understand that Archa Vigraha and Krishna, they are not different from each other. Because Krishna expands into unlimited forms. Similarly, Archa Vigraha is also an expanded form of the Lord. So when we worship Archa Vigraha, we are actually approaching Lord and He is accepting the service of us by His omnipotent energy. We also have to understand here that the Archa Vigrahas actually are something the Lord is coming into them. When the Acharyas, they are requesting, when there is Murti Sthapna Pratishthan or a Yagya which is done. So that Archa Vigraha works in the original way as the Lord because of His omnipotence. It is the Buddhas, the foolish people who don't understand this about Ishvara. And so they think that, okay, the deities are made of material elements. Though this is material, and it may seem material because of the imperfect eyes of foolish people, or even maybe by Kanishta Adhikaris, but the fact is that Krishna is omnipotent, omniscient, and even the matter can be transformed into spirit and spirit into matter as Krishna desires. And so we have to be very careful when we are talking about Archa Vigrahas or when we are serving the Archa Vigrahas. The question comes, how do we get this knowledge? How do we understand this? And the response is by complete surrenderance. Sharanagati. In Bhagavad Gita 9.11 as well, the Lord clearly mentions how those people with limited knowledge, they are trying to think about others. Like we have a devotee named Bhatta who wants to gain control of everything, who wants to even get the control of the screens, not knowing that what we are doing here, what we are talking about, is about Krishna. And Krishna is omnipotent. And Krishna, because of his omnipotence, is able to control everything. And we need not take control of anything. We don't need anything. It's Krishna who is the ultimate controller. So such poorly informed persons, they do not know omnipotence of God. And that is why the Lord does not manifest to these mental speculators. He is appreciated only in the proportion of our surrenderance. And why we are not able to achieve Him is because of our forgetfulness of relationship with God. So it is important that we seek the mercy of Lord. We try to get the mercy of Him. See, this mantra also makes one thing clear, that it is the Krishna, it is the Lord who has been supplying everything to the living entities from time immemorial. We may have some desires, we have desires, and Lord supplies the objects for their desires according to our qualifications. For example, someone may want to become a High Court judge, but just a desire will not suffice. He'll have to accompany, he'll have to get the necessary qualifications, but still he will not become the judge, because then he'll also require the consent of the authority. So qualifications are insufficient to occupy a post. It must be awarded by some superior authority. Similarly, Lord awards enjoyment to living entities in proportion to their qualifications. Good qualifications themselves are not sufficient to enable one to receive the awards. Mercy is required. Generally, we do not know what to ask God or what we need, because we are not knowing what our original position is, and that is why we keep on making mistakes. But the moment we come to know of our constitutional position, we ask to be accepted into the transcendental association of Lord, so that we can continue the transcendental loving service to Him. Because of influence of Maya, we ask for everything else except for this. And that is what Bhagavad Gita 2.41 describes, that the intelligence is mundane and diverse, while spiritual intelligence is one with the objective of Krishna. In Bhagavatam also it is mentioned that those who are captivated by temporary beauties of external energy forget the real aim of life. And because they are forgetting this, they try to adjust things by various plans, programs. But then we are charvitama charva. We are chewing what is already been chewed. But Krishna Krupa is such that He helps our forgetful entities to continue in this way. So that is why the words have come here. Yathatathyato. That the Lord rewards the living entities in pursuance of their desires. So if people are wanting to go to hell, Lord is allowing them without interference. And if we are wanting to go back to Godhead, God is helping for that also. So it is our free will, what we want. If we use our free will properly and request Lord not for hell, but for going back to Vaikuntha, going back to Golok Vrindavan, it is possible. And why it is possible? Because God is Paribhuh, the greatest of all. No one is greater than or equal to him. We are simply beggars. And that is why we are going on trying to do different kinds of business with Lord. Oh Lord, please give me good wife. I will do this, or that. Oh Lord, please let me clear my exams. I will give you 100 rupees prasadam. Now, if you were equal in potency with Lord, if you were also omnipotent and omniscient, then we would not have been begging even for mukti. So this again is a proof that we are subservient and Lord is the original Purusha. So real liberation is going back to Godhead and not just a Brahman effulgence. What these impersonalists think is a myth. And we have to get out of this repeated again. Even when Krishna appeared around 5,000 years ago, he displayed his full manifestations through various activities. He killed powerful demons, Aghasur, Bakasur, Shaktasur, and so on and so on. Utna. So, how did he get the power to defeat all of them? Not through any extraneous endeavor. He lifted Govardhan hill without ever practicing weightlifting. He danced with the gopis without social restrictions. Through all of these activities, he proved that he is that. Now, though the gopis may have approached him with Parama's feeling of love, the relationship was pure, worshipable. Even a strict sannyasi like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finds it worshiping. And that is why Ishopanishad is describing here Krishna as Shuddham and Apapa viddham. He is Shuddham in the sense that even impure things can become purified just by touching him. So we don't need a hand sanitizer or anything to purify our existence. That is a safety precaution against maybe COVID virus. But Krishna is such that the moment he is there, everything around him gets purified automatically. That is why he is also prophylactic, Apapa viddham. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions that a devotee may be Sudurachara, but then still we have to accept him as Shuddha Bhakta because he is on the right path of Bhakti. No mistake, no sin can ever touch Krishna. Even if he may be doing certain activities which we may feel from a material perspective wrong, but the intention is right. Intention is for all good. And so he is not affected by anything. He should the most purified. Just like a sun. Now a sun is able to take moisture from all parts of the earth. So the sunlight falls on the purest of the places, the temples, as well as the most impure places, the drainages as well. But still, the sun rays extract the moisture from all such places. It purifies obnoxious things by virtue of its sterilizing powers. So if sun, which is a material object, is so powerful, then you can hardly imagine the purifying strength of the all-pervading Lord. And then we talk about the tasya Pratima. Or Svetasvatra Upanishad, it mentions no one can grasp him above, across, or in the middle. There is no likeness of him. His name is great. Even Quran, 4th Surah, 87th ayat says, there is no God except Allah. So, na tasya Pratima, Baldev Vidyabhushanji's translation, it is mentioned, nothing can compare with the transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever scriptures, whatever books, whatever literature we try to read, we'll get to the same conclusion. Krishna and his archas, his various different forms, they're all not different from each other. So we need to keep on serving Krishna to the best of our abilities. One statement which has one word which has come here is Arthapatti. Arthapatti actually means postulation. So basically there are two statements. So those two statements can be contradictory. But based on those two statements, we come to a third conclusory statement. So for example, if I say Ravi does not eat throughout the day, and then I say Ravi's weight is increasing. So what it means is Ravi is definitely eating secretly at night. That is Arthapatti. So similarly in Svetasvatra Upanishad 3.19, there it is mentioned. Apani pada javana grahito. And the other place it is mentioned, Pashyati achakshuhu srinod. So what it means is, he is not having ears. Or akarna. When we say Krishna has no eyes, but he sees. How? Because he has spiritual eyes. So that is how we arrive at the Artha. The word Akayam or the Kaya word is also important. Now, Kaya materially refers to the body, but for Lord's form, it does not refer. In material persons, the body and the soul, which is the real person, are separate. And the body has to be given up. And it also degrades. And the body is the product of the past karma of the soul. But for Krishna, nothing of this applies. That is where two important aspects come into picture, karmavad and daivavad. So when we say karmavad, what it means is everything is in our hand. Whatever karmas we do, whatever activities we do, we get the results accordingly. And that is the right way to live life. And that is why you get success with karmavad. And daivavad is, oh, nothing is in my hand. Whatever Krishna wills will happen. So the person is morose. He is not active. He starts becoming more and more lazy. That is daivavad. That is not the right way to live. So this is where the whole thing comes into picture. That we have to understand how this body is the product of our past karma. So we should not depend on daivavad, but have karmavad. Do karmas now in such a way that we do not get any more bodies. And this becomes our last body, and we get out of this cycle of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. And we have to be careful here about how the impersonalists, the materialists, they try to confuse us. We hear words such as Prajananam Brahma, that is, Brahman is consciousness. It comes in even Aitareya Upanishad. Or Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, which comes in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Or Tattvam Asi, that thou art. Or Aham Atma Brahma, this self is Brahman. But then they are the stepping stones towards actual Athato Brahma Jigyasa, to understand that who is the original soul. So we have to be careful. So absolute truth is something which is the only truth which can be there in the form of Bhagwan, Paramatma, as well as Brahma. But we are not to be disturbed by only the Brahman or the Paramatma aspect, but we have to think about the Bhagwan aspect. How is this possible? We have already seen this, how qualifications is not only sufficient, there also has to be someone who bestows some. How Karmavad is there, how Daivavad is there, and how, since we are the beggars, we have to be a daring beggar. We have to dare to ask something which no one else can. Because finally, Krishna is someone who is not only merciful, he is Shuddham. And all our lust can go away. Your sannyasis glorify it. Now, in this aspect, two important discussions also have been done by the acharyas about Swakiya and Prakiya, and by Jiva Goswami about the Chaya gopis. So Swakiya is the love or the enamor between a husband and a religiously wedded wife. And that which we have outside the religious wedded relation is Prakiya or the Parkiya. So we have to be understanding this aspect as well. And that is why out of the four principles on which the whole institute is created, one of them is purity. And that purity is achieved when we avoid illicit relations. So when the Ras Leela episodes are discussed, Jiva Goswami ji gives a very authentic explanation. It was not the gopis who actually left their husbands and went there. No. The gopis in their material bodies were still with their husbands, were still under the custody of their families. It was the chaya of the gopis which left their husbands, which left the households and ran behind Krishna and enjoyed the eternal pastime of dancing with him. This is a very important aspect, and this proves again how Krishna is pure, how he is Shuddham. Saparyagachat Shukram Akayam Avranam Ashnaviram Shuddham Apapa viddham Kavihim Manisi Paribhuh Svayambhuh Yathatathyato Arthan Yadadhasha Chashvastibhyah Samabhyah. Such a person must factually know the greatest of all, the personality of Godhead, who is unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without hands, pure and uncontaminated, the self-sufficient philosopher who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial. So one aspect which is also important to understand here is Krishna is self-sufficient. He is Atmaram. He does not need anyone else. And we are all dependent upon. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhaya